like both players, they're both very, very good players, but they're a lot. This is a lot of a closer match than what we have in store for us today. But yeah, no, we have some players to introduce, and it is the start of the game, so I feel like we should maybe just get into it. And so spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, representing himself and all of America, give it up for the Red Terran of Dolan.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the American Zerg player. He is yellow, representing his team, risen from the Gosu. It is ScrubbleS.
And interesting strategy already from ScrubbleS.
Yeah.
With the very, very early pool.
Yeah, you don't see this too often. We'll see what he has in store for this early pool, if he's just looking to harass and delay the natural, or if this could be indicative of a much faster Roach Warren as well.
Yeah, so I was joking about it earlier in between games, but like there's a mLty build actually that has gotten some popularity where you go pool hatch gas. Into like a very fast, like 3 or 5 roach pressure, and it's looking to be very similar to what I to that strat. Generally, I think they make 2 lings instead of 4 sets of lings, or 4 zerglings. But again, there's lots of options, and always this could just be like, oh, I want to play safe. I want to make sure I'm not getting like proxied or anything, and this also is incredibly good against any sort of proxy. But the early lack of hatchery from the fast SCP scout does, see that, hey, there's Zerglings on the way, and I should be a bit worried.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I love this because it does feel like I'm casting a Southeast Asia match. This happens quite a lot. F's in the chat for Azure. He struggles. He's our Australian Terran who struggles so much against me and Micah. And the hard thing about this is, like, okay, so the early pool gets scouted, right? Like, the lings are out. He saw the late hatch timing. He needs to go across the map with this Reaper and scout the Roach Warren. Like, I understand that there are lings, but, like, he needs his priorities,
Yes, exactly. And defending the lings is always like, it's nice to get the CC up. However, that's not the real strength of the push. The biggest strength is these roaches, and he's building 5 of them, and he's still mining gas. And so there is that potential for him to make a couple Ravagers, because while that bunker on the high ground is nice, having a bunch of Ravagers having like a Ravager 2 to DPS that down, with like maybe a roach or 2 to tank like any real like Marines coming out is incredibly scary, as we do see 1 Ravager already.
Yeah, there we go. The roaches are out. They're going to be moving across the map. Thankfully, Dolan is sending out his Reaper, so he will catch these roaches. Now he's aware.
Yes, now Dolan, he does have to prepare. I really like this move, like just like trying to delay it as much as he can, doing every little thing, just like you buy him an additional second or 2, because he's building a Cyclone, which is a very, very interesting response. Because it can hit the Overlord up top, and so if you remove the Overlord, you remove so much of the pressure from this push.
Definitely. Like, removing that high ground vision is key here in defending this, and we'll see what can get done. It looks like there won't be a repair, so the supply depot will go down.
And the supply depot going down is nice. It's a little bit of damage, but and he's also probably going to force the lift off of this CC as that Cyclone is out, and it is going to start attacking that Overlord.
Ooh, yeah, just barely doesn't get a kill on the Overlord, just barely manages to survive. And from here, ScrubbleS is just droning up. His goal right now is to delay that natural for as long as possible.
And the Cyclone is going to do a nice job of like kind of shoving things back, and he'll probably get another roach or 2. However, just on the other side of things, we've got a very fast layer. Traditionally speaking, the follow-up has been 2-base muta for a lot of Zerg players in the past. And so this 2 bases and the fast layer and all this gas leads me to believe that ScrubbleS might be a fellow 2-base muta connoisseur.
I just love that the word of me and Micah is spreading a little bit. It's it's starting to influence the NA players. It's great to see.
Yeah, no, mLty, he's like such a fun player. And whenever I am struggling in any matchup, I like mLty is one of the players that I look to and like, what is he doing? Just like have something fun and interesting in that game because he
Yeah.
like regardless, his games are fun if nothing else.
Yeah, I just love how he goes against the grain. Like he has his own idea, and like it works. You know, he's like 6.5k on NA. Like he's always on like winning the NA ladder heroes of Fear Dragon, right? Like there's something to how he plays. Sure, it's not meta, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun and you know it is effective. Like, because keep in mind, mLty is a player who beat Maru in the best of 3.
Yeah.
And this was back when Maru was almost untouchable. And so this Reaper is going to get into Scout by the looks of it. He's going to see the layer for the first time. And so Dolan should know that it's something weird. And there are 2 options it could be. It could be like a really fast, like Ravager Ling 1-1 timing, or it could be 2-base Muta. So the scan goes down. And he doesn't see the layer.
Just okay. Second scan does get used. It's a bit of a shame that he had to, you know, waste 2, but he does scout the Spire.
Yes, and it is 100% worth it knowing exactly, hey, this is a Spire, but an Armory going down, interestingly enough, and no defensive turrets just yet. There are Mutas on the way, and those flyer attacks. We got a lot of Lings. Very pressuring for ScrubbleS, and so ScrubbleS I feel like is in a nice position to maybe deal damage.
Yeah, it's really, yeah, it's interesting because like the engineering baits have been done for quite some time. Finally, we do have the first missile turret going down, but some of the other mineral lines are a little bit vulnerable. Thankfully, we do have a Widow Mine, but yeah, we'll see if the Mutas can still find some damage.
Yeah, just the one Widow Mine though. It is in a really nice spot though. It's like right above that barracks if you can, and you really can't see it. So
yeah, there it is.
It might get quite a massive. Is it? Okay. No massive Widow Mine shots just yet for us today, but we do have more turrets going up, and like I like this from Dolan. He's not being over defensive with this. He's like, yeah, I'll get 3 missile turrets, but I'm gonna delay him, and he picks off a Widow Mine. Nice moves out of ScrubbleS.
Oof, yeah, he does manage to catch it just before it borrows, thankfully, especially since he doesn't have any detection with these Mutas. But so far, nothing major, right? Sure, ScrubbleS has map control, but I'm sure he would have loved to have dealt some more damage.
Exactly, I agree with you, and this like map control is good enough like for now, but ScrubbleS has to do something. You can't just sit back and like, yeah, I got map control, and you have to do something with these Mutas, or you have to like drone to 80 and like not die to the push. Those are like kind of the 2 things that have to happen, and just like kind of moving around and not getting damage is, I don't think, quite the play.
Yeah, definitely. Like, especially because like he wasn't even able to delay the third for that long, right? Like he killed an SCV there and not much else. Now we have a Thor, so the Mutas are even more like, it's gonna be so much more difficult for them to engage with the main army. But he's still committing, like he's still pumping out more Mutas. Scan gets used, he sees the minimal amount of drones at the third.
Yeah, and poor Dolan has to know what's up. Like the Baneling Nest and Baneling Speed is done, and so that is a plus that will make it so Dolan can't kill ScrubbleS right now. But you have to have, like Banelings are a one-time use unit, and so you have to be able to have an economy to rebuild after just one engagement. And I don't know if ScrubbleS will have that in time.
Yeah, I think it's going to be on Dolan to kind of hit a timing. He did just start up 2-2, so I imagine he's going to wait for that. But, you know, once that happens, ScrubbleS, like, he's been neglecting his economy so much.
Yeah, he is, and he does get the Cyclone, but it's like he might even lose the Muta. He loses 1 Muta for it. So Muta for a Cyclone is like, it's an okay trade, but when your economy isn't that great, he's only on 64 drones. And Dolan's on 60 with 3 CCs. It's quite a conundrum.
Definitely. Thankfully, ScrubbleS isn't completely neglecting his upgrades. You know, 1-1 is on the way, and it should be done by the time the attack or the big engagement does happen. And he's still trying his best to be active with these Mutas. It does take a Thor volley to the face, though.
Yeah, and like just this being active and being out on the map is really nice. Like as long as you can delay it, your opponent from coming across the map. And oh, this might be a massive catch here, as the mutas and lings jump on a quite a big flock of the Marines, and the medevac actually maybe will go down. Not looking like barely being able to live.
I can't believe those medevacs survived. What just... Dolan just stumbled deep into creep and somehow was able to outmaneuver the Zerg army and barely lose anything.
What just happened?
I don't even know, mate. But Dolan, he has the move somehow. But the Mutaflog is actually getting pretty high, and can he get the upgrades?
He's gonna deny one upgrade. Does he get the second one though? He looks like he will.
The repair is just not enough.
Yes, really nice job. He got that. He got those upgrades, and so that will just let him catch up in 2-2. And as long as you can be not too far behind in your upgrades in ZvT, you're doing good. As long as you know everything else, all right, like good drone count, good base count, etc., etc. As it looks like we might have another fight on our hands here pretty soon.
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, this is huge because this fight should be happening with Dolan with that 2-2 advantage. But that was stripped away from him. So now, like waiting for those upgrades, I don't think is the play. Dolan should try and do something with his massive army, but these mutas so far are doing a really good job at just keeping Dolan at home. Like he's just kind of stuck here.
Yeah. He is indeed. He delays the 4th CC, and so now that ScrubbleS sees this, he kind of knows that, I should probably get a 5th base and maybe another like 10 or so drones. As he is droning a little bit, and he might be looking to get a 5th base here soon, as these mutas once again are just still kind of sharking around, trying to find damage where they can.
Yeah, and it looks like Dolan has kind of given up on the attack. Like he's like, okay, I've remade my engineering base. Ooh, almost runs into those widow mines, but he's looking to just expand and secure himself.
Yes, really nicely done by Dolan. He realized, okay, my timing is gone, so I'm gonna have to play the late game. One of the perks is that mutas aren't the god tier late game comp. They're really good and you can stay on them forever. However, eventually you'll start to struggle. Once Terran gets 3-3 and a whole bunch of Thors and a whole bunch of insert more tier 3 units here.
Oh, but look at this. He's able to go all the way into the main base, targets down all 3 missile turrets, and there's nothing really here to stop him. The Thors, they do get boosted in.
Oh, but he gets a CC. A full-on CC does go down. I love this from ScrubbleS. He's getting lots of damage.
Yeah, exactly. The CC goes down, the engineering bay gets shelled out. Oh, does take a Widowmine shot, though. Oh, God. Okay, he manages to squeeze by, but he lost quite a number of mutas, but in the end of the day, killing a CC was huge.
Yeah, 15 mutas in total did go down, but 15 mutas for a CC, I think, is definitely worth it.
Oh boy, yeah, especially since
you do have more banelings doing work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on.
I was about to say, he was maxed out at the time. He needs to get rid of some of those mutas. Ling Bane is what you definitely need against this mass bio army, and finally Dolan has had enough and he's pushing out into the map.
Oh, I like this. It looks like ScrubbleS is trying to set up for a huge flank, but will it be in time? Sending some banelings in, and beautiful connections initially. As no, he's going for a counterattack. Yeah,
he's just going across the map. There's nothing really here at home. Meanwhile, Dolan, he's committing to this. Okay, he does take out the hatchery. Will he turn around or will he just keep going? He's not stopping.
And we might be in full-on base trade territory. There is a really good defense here for our Zerg player, and he is starting to jump on the army, but are there enough banelings?
We'll find out. He's getting a nice surround. A lot of the Marines are going down. The mutas come back and they clean up.
Yeah, the Zerg just cleaned house, and once all is said and done, it's 4 bases to 3, but one of those CCs is just a regular CC, not even a full-on orbital yet.
Yeah, exactly. And now ScrubbleS, he was able to defend. Now he can go across the map. As long as he doesn't take any massive Widowmine shots, he should be okay. The Widowmines do borrow.
Yes, really nice job. The mutas are trying, and they do. It looks like they will get the Thor, and these banelings, they just keep rolling in.
Yeah, that they do. The wall goes up, but the wall goes down. The Widowmines do not burrow in time, and it looks like the Zerg army gets in.
And GG, that's it. That's the game. Ladies and gentlemen, ScrubbleS takes game number 1.
Wow. GG. What a game 1.
what a game one indeed. That was really fun to watch. Like it was just such an interesting like path. It's the I think Railgun was the first guy to like sort of make it trendy to go like a early aggressive roach build into mutas, but like that was like that had so many like mLty like little details in it that I really think ScrubbleS is like taking after like mLty, and as you said, mLty is influencing the scene. But what a way to start that game, Lingbane Muta, and just like outclassing Dolan in a macro game is rather impressive. He's a really talented macro player in my opinion, and so like losing in a longer game like that worries me for a little bit for his future in Code S.
Definitely. I really want to commend ScrubbleS, and even though he wasn't finding too much economic damage with those mutas, I do think that it was really integral to his win that he was able to snipe both engineering bays the way he did and deny those upgrades and like elongating that game. It could have turned out very differently if Dolan was able to hit his 2-2 timing like he wanted to. It could have been a completely different game, but yeah, that was so nice that the mutas were able to deny that. And with that, we are getting ready for game number 2.
Yes, game number 2. I'm really excited. It's going to be on Death Aura LE this time, which is a very fun map. It's a little bit worse for like early aggressive plays with roaches, and so I'm curious to see if ScrubbleS is going to keep his what he did the first time around of the like very mLty build, or if he's going to try something new.
Yeah, we will see what he has in store for us. Like, I don't think we're going to see the same build 2 games in a row, but like that's what me and Michael would do. So.
Yes, exactly. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, it is the red American Terran player, currently teamless. Give it up for Dolan.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Death Aura LE, we have the American Zerg player currently up 1-0 in this best of 5 series, representing Risen from the Gosu. It is ScrubbleS. No early pool?
No early pool indeed. Instead, this looks to be, is it a macro game? Are we going to have like potentially a macro game from no like early shenaniganery? I'm excited.
That'd be crazy. So if this was me and Micah, I'd be like, all right, he's going to macro up. He's going to go Ling Hydra, no Banelings. And it's a coin flip whether the Terran will be ready for it or not.
Ling Hydra. It has been a minute since I've seen like mLty like play Ling Hydra, but every time I watch it, it is such a fun style.
It makes no sense whatsoever. His opponents are like, what is happening right now? We'll see if ScrubbleS has been influenced that much by mLty. If he's just going full Vietnam on us, I would love it, but we'll see. Like, he has his own style to him as well, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, his ScrubbleS, like we watched him in the past, and like he was very I felt like if I remember correctly, he did like quite a large number of builds in his Code A run.
Yes.
Every time it just seemed to be something just a little bit different each time, and like that build order variety has really made him a dangerous player.
Definitely. I remember watching the series as well, where like each game turned out a little bit differently, and it was like, oh, like that's really cool to see. I myself thought of him more like kind of like, yeah, he has like 1 or 2 builds that he relies on per matchup, but we saw a lot more versatility with ScrubbleS when it came to like playing roaches and hydras or mutalisks as well. So we'll see what he has in store for us here. We'll see what Dolan has in store for us after that game.
Yeah, Dolan, this is a very, very early factory. It started and it's already partway done when the reactor isn't even like done yet. And so it should time out relatively okay. But this is just such a faster factory, and that means the star port's going to be that much faster. And ooh, that's a really early CC.
Yeah, this is a very interesting build. Like, we have seen, I think Innovation popularized this a little bit, like 3rd CC before Starport, but like the faster factory as well coming into this. Oh, okay.
Yeah, very interesting because like a lot of the one of the more trendy things I see on the Korean ladder at least is you'll just go like one racks third CC and then like you'll tech up from there. But like this like super fast factory in Hellions into the CC is going to lead to a very interesting game because if you're not like that on top of your scouting, you might not even realize as a third player that there's a third CC this fast.
It's going to be on ScrubbleS to get that scouting information. At the moment, he does not have Overlord speed. He does have an Overlord coming across the map, so maybe he'll dive in and eventually scout this. But there is a Viking on the way looking to deny that Overlord.
It's a Viking with a tech lab available for. I'm curious if this is going to be a tech lab for tanks for the factory, or if this StarCraft's going to be making like maybe some Banshees or like Raven as a follow-up, because it doesn't look like there's a there's no BC opener, so it does look like it is just going to be for like really fast tanks off of a relatively low Hellion count of 4.
Interesting. Meanwhile, the other side of things, ScrubbleS himself is also going for a relatively fast lair, and we could be seeing mutas again. Like regardless, he's still missing his gases. Or, mate, I'm holding out hope. Hydras, Ling Hydra.
Hydras. Yes, Ling Hydra. That's all you need. They just channel his inner mLty. Like, you know, I just need to get a second gas, and like it's a fake ban. Like that's to like trick your opponent into thinking that you're not actually going Ling Hydra.
Look, I can't tell you the amount of times where I'm with Yaku and we're casting mLty and he's going like 2 base, 4 gas, and we're like, oh, he's going 2 base muta, and then he throws out a Hydra dead, and we're like, god damn it. Like, what? Only you, mLty. God damn it.
Yeah, I know mLty, always an interesting player, and he has such a big influence on like how so many Zergs I feel like have played. Because like on the ladder, I see like a lot of mLty clones who just like do like weird, really weird stuff, and if you scout the tech, they'll cancel it and go something else.
It's great.
Of course, but, yeah, looks to be slightly more standard than that. Unlucky for us, as we do have Baneling speed, a couple of Evos, and a lot of Ling, and probably some Banelings. Be the order of the day.
It's pretty interesting that the faster lair did lead to just going for a faster link speed. No like big tech or anything like that whatsoever. ScrubbleS just trying to secure himself on his side of the map, spreading creep, or even trying to get us around on these Hellions. Gets 1.
Yeah, getting 1 is really nice. However, 3 are still enough to one-shot a Zergling, and so you do have to be very, very careful until you get that Hellion count down like lower than 3 at least. And we do have upgrades starting for both players. Relatively timed out okay, so there will be only very small timing windows for a Terran to deal lots of damage to the Zerg if they do upgrade the league, at least if assuming everyone keeps on top of all of their upgrades.
Definitely. Meanwhile, it does look like ScrubbleS did manage to get into the main base with his Overlords. They did get taken out in the end, but he did see the 3rd CC, saw all the production as well, so he is aware of what his opponent's going for. But we just see Dolan moving out with this drop.
Yeah, and there is a armory on the way with this drop, and so there is going to be a potential for quite a bit of damage if there aren't enough Banelings ready to just like get through the Hellbats. This is going to be very difficult to deal with.
Oh yeah, definitely. As this is lined up really nicely. Meanwhile, we do have that Hydra Den on the way, so Ling Bane Hydra is the composition for ScrubbleS. Oh god, the Queen.
Yeah, losing the Queen here would be absolutely not ideal. He does have to force to use 1 transfuse, so that's quite a lot of Queen energy down, and the creep is going to be significantly slowed from this, which is what you want as a Terran player, because you can't really sit on creep for too long because Banelings are just so fast.
Like, already kind of worth it for Dolan, this drop, able to kill like 2 decently energy queens already, and his push is still here. He does see the Ling Bane, so he thinks better of like pushing further into creep, but so far, nicely done.
Yes, really nice. And just like keeping that pressure out on the map is going to be important for your Terran players, because if you lose map presence, then really the Zerg can just like run away with the game if you're not careful. And we have this massive push here being set up, and I am really worried there's almost no creep here, so this 4th base might be forfeit.
Yeah, exactly. The creep that's being thrown down is being denied. Meanwhile, the Ling Bane is rushing in, but all the tanks are sieged.
Oh no, the tanks being sieged, they were just shelling so much damage was dealt onto those banelings, and these Marines are once again forward. The creep is once again completely, or almost completely, gone in front of this fourth base.
Yeah, exactly. ScrubbleS, he's trying to get a couple more banelings in, and they do finish up just in time for the next attack, looking to maybe try and sandwich the army if he pushes up the ramp.
Oh, pushing up the ramp he does, and the splits are nice. Wait, did he just do it?
Oh my god, there were just not enough banelings. Like, the banelings of ScrubbleS ended up connecting on the tanks instead. GG gets called.
And we have ourselves a series. Really well done by both players, but like, oh, what a game.
Yeah, oh god, just Dolan set himself up really nicely, like previously with that drop, killing some queens, clearing up some creep, and then with that follow-up push in that same area. And I thought ScrubbleS would have enough to defend, right? Like, it didn't feel like he was being ultra greedy, but it was just so difficult to engage off of creep like that.
Yeah, I just like the really well done by Dolan to set up that all that creep denial and just basically to constantly deny, like, yeah, because you will take your fourth base here more often than not as a Zerg player, and so like getting all that creep gone early on again and again and again just set him up really nicely for this. So I'm excited to see what his plan is for Romanticide, our map number 3.
Ooh, that we will. A bit of a larger map, a little bit more easier to defend in general, so we could once again have a longer macro game.
Yes, I'm excited. I believe in it. And I'm curious to see if, like, and who knows, we might even get a proxy 2 or 3 racks.
I hope so. Like, this isn't the worst map for it. Like, there are plenty of proxy locations to go for something cheeky. I can't wait.
I cannot wait indeed, but we'll have to wait and see and load into the game, but we should probably introduce our players before we get into any of that. And so, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, it is the red Terran player, currently teamless. Give it up for Dolan.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Romanticide ALE, we have the American Zerg player. He is yellow. He is representing Risen from the Gosu. We're tied up 1-1 in this best of 5. We have a full-on series. It is ScrubbleS. Oh my. Oh my. Mate, you called it.
I can't believe I called it. You know, the win rate of proxy 2/3x in tournaments has to be absolutely insane. I've never seen the strategy lose, at least not here on the Ducklings channel. So let's see if that trend continues. We've got 2 racks so far.
I just have a massive smile on my face.
Honestly, same.
Oh god. And unfortunately, this game, ScrubbleS didn't go for an early pull like we did see in game number 1. Go for the hatch first, and so far the Overlords are not on the trajectory to scout this whatsoever.
Yes, and he went for like a hatch and then gas pool. Some players, Zerg players, will go for a hatch, then pool, then gas, just so they have those Zerglings couple extra seconds earlier. It makes your defense a much cleaner of these sorts of like proxy racks plays, but you know, just not quite this time around, as we do have he's mining through the mineral.
I love this. 2 SCVs are enough to mine through, so there is that gap that the Marines can push through. Thankfully, ScrubbleS does have his Overlord over his natural, so he will be able to see these SCVs and the bunkers being thrown down.
Yes, we do have the first bunker, and 1 drone is already down there. 2 bunkers already, and is he going to do a big drone pull? It looks like he will, which is completely correct. But I don't think the spine crawler might be a bit too defensive, as the drones instead are trying to focus down the SCVs. They do get pulled off the bunkers, and the Marines are still coming.
Oh, that they are. There are now 2 Marines. Nice macro there with the SCVs so far. Both of them have been kept alive, but one of them almost got surrounded.
And the Lings are out, so this makes this push a little bit scarier. We do have 1 bunker mostly done. There are a lot of drones on it. Always losing more and more drones, so this is looking scarier and scarier for our Zerg player.
Yeah, Dolan's micro has been insane. He was able to micro back, take out every single Ling. Meanwhile, only 1 SCV has gone down, 1 just barely staying alive, and the spine is going to go down.
The spine goes down. Unfortunately, all the SCVs die, so it looks like the bunkers will go down too. However, this was so much damage, and there are 3 drones not even mining.
Oh,
God. More Marines are coming.
Exactly, and now all the Lings are dead. The Queen is almost dead as well. Like, Dolan can still, like, snowball from here.
And keep in mind, back at home, he still has like things going down. He has a full wall factory and another CC on the way. As just these Marines are getting so much damage done.
Yeah, the Queen falls, more Lings go down, no mining at the natural whatsoever. And you're right, like, in saying that he's not all in. Like, he's got a CC on the way, on the high ground. Like, he's perfectly fine at home. Meanwhile, ScrubbleS is he's just struggling to stay alive.
Yeah, we do have there are still a large number of Lings here, and so he isn't going to like necessarily die to these Marines, but I like this response. Like, you know what, things went poorly for me this time around. Let's just get a Baneling Nest and try for something YOLO, because like, do you really have many other options?
Exactly, and I love this because there's nothing at home, right? So he could try and bust in and deal some damage. Link speed will be done shortly as well, and I think Dolan did miss those Lings going across the map.
Yeah, he did, and the Marines, they aren't moving up the ramp at all, but now his barracks, he did just see him, so he does have to know that he has to bring them home. The Baneling Nest is done. He can morph in a bunch of Banelings here, but does he have time?
That's the question. Oh my god. GG.
GG gets called, and ScrubbleS taps out of game number 3. Dolan takes the lead 2-1. He only needs to win 1 more game, whereas ScrubbleS has to win 2. And so I'm very curious to see what Dolan's plan from game number 4 is. But Light, the win rate of Proxy 2-Rack / 3-Rack has to be absolutely insane. I've never seen the strategy lose.
It never loses, mate. It never loses. I'm not too sure what ScrubbleS saw that prompted him to GG out. It may have been a combination of the Marines going back home because they realized that the Lings were coming across the map, and maybe the fact that he didn't see anything on the low ground and everything was on the high ground. It's hard to say, but regardless, it would have been a really difficult position for ScrubbleS to come back from. Like, he was down in workers heavily, like he was gonna be down in tech. Would have been cool to see him try to bust in, but yeah, GG.
Exactly. It would have been nice to try, but it is it is him, and maybe he's just like, I kind of want to reset a little bit and just get into the next game. Because like StarCraft isn't just like like how much APM do you have? It's like definitely a mental game too, and to have that mental fortitude to like play the next game and not be incredibly tilted from is a sign of a strong player. And so let's see what ScrubbleS has in store for us today.
Yeah, definitely. As we are getting ready for our next map, and I love that this map did not get vetoed. It's a map that a lot of players do shy away from, but not here, not on NA.
Yes, Submarine LE is the order of the day. For those of you playing map bingo at home, we may hit all 7 maps. Submarine is one of the ones that gets vetoed very commonly. The other one, I believe, what's the other one that gets vetoed?
Oxide?
The one with the speed zones.
Oh, the Jagged Ather.
Jagged Ather, that's it.
Yeah.
The one that's hard to pronounce. But regardless, we do have, first we got to get through Submarine, and here in this best of 5 is spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. It is the teamless American player. Give it up for Dolan.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Submarine LE, we have the American Zerg player. He is yellow. He is representing Risen from the Gosu. It is ScrubbleS. Oh boy. So...
Oh boy, indeed.
Even though we are on Submarine, like I would have been very surprised if we even saw a proxy on this map. Like the rush distance is so small, regardless. And I don't know how do you feel about this map in this matchup?
Personally, all right. So from the Terran side of things, it is very, very scary. Incredibly early on, the first like 4 minutes are terrifying. Because like any early pressure at all, like it hits so much faster than on any of the other maps that like you kind of have to play you have to be that much more aware of what your Zerg opponent is doing. And if you miss like even one little thing, like if, for instance, if like you like go into SCV scout early on and they pull out and then they put down the Roach Warren, like it is super easy to die. On the flip side of things, after those first 4 minutes, as the Zerg player, it becomes very terrifying until like you have like your really scary late game units, like maybe at the 10 or 12 minute mark, with ultras and all sorts of things, but just because that rush distance is so short. So Terran like is like 3 siege tank pushes away from the third base to your third base, and suddenly you have siege tank showing away at your base, and so very easy to push in that mid game. However, that from the Zerg side of things, if you do like a very heavy like a 1-1 Roach Ravager timing or something, that'll hit so much cleaner just because the map is again so small. So it really does favor the aggressor, in my opinion.
Yeah, that is why personally I have this map vetoed, because the ZvT on this map, as you were saying, like those marine tank pushes hit so much harder on this map. So if you aren't aggressive and you don't take advantage of the map, then you can struggle a little bit. So far, Dolan just barely keeps the Reaper alive.
A nice job. That Reaper doesn't go down, might even like get Ling into the red if he's lucky, but players nowadays are pretty good about keeping everything alive and well. As Reaper gets shoved out of the main base once again, so good job by ScrubbleS to deny that scouting. However, you can kind of almost sense in a way as a Terran player when losing the Reaper, actually that's not good.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame that the Reaper did get taken out there, but as you said, like I feel like he saw enough to realize that okay, there isn't like anything ultra aggressive coming out towards him.
Exactly, like you can just kind of like just from how a player is moving his units, you can kind of get a sense of this like seems normal, or this seems suspicious. And in this case it looked fairly normal to me, and so from Dolan I feel like he can kind of get a sense for it, and he confirms now that hey, there's the third base, and so I can run my units back home and not have to worry too much about like any super early aggression. I can at least play the next minute or so relatively normally.
And we do see that he's opting to go for a Liberator behind some of these Hellions. So again, Dolan whipping out something a little bit different here in game number 4. But we'll see what he ends up committing to here. He could also go for a Banshee after this, or maybe he's just waiting to switch his factory over to that tech lab for tank production.
And so it is a big decision. Right now, he hasn't made it just yet, but eventually you do have to decide what do I do with the starport next. And a third CC is definitely another decision that's very good. I really like the very early third CCs that a lot of Terran players have been doing for the past couple of years, like just going from straight 1-1-1 into third CC. And I don't think this has been scouted by ScrubbleS just yet.
Yeah,
ScrubbleS. No, he sees it.
He does see it. He has the Overlord on top of the natural, so he is able to get all the scouting information he needs. At the same time, the Liberator is looking to sneak into the main base, but ScrubbleS has eyes on it, repositions his spore.
Yes, nice job. But the Liberator does move around, and it does a reposition as there's a massive dive of Hellions into the natural base. 11 drones, not like this.
Oh my god, 8 Hellions dive in. A couple of Hellions are going down, but so many drones are just going down. Oh my god.
Really unfortunate. ScrubbleS had everything set up basically correctly, and he was just a little bit late on his wave of lings. Like if his lings was just like maybe like 5 or 10 seconds sooner, he would have not lost 20 drones. Oh wow.
And at this stage, what does ScrubbleS do from here? Like his Baneless isn't even done. He sure has a couple of lings, and maybe he can be a little bit aggressive, maybe delay that third base, but he's down so many workers.
Yeah, and it's like that was really unlucky. A lot of like Terran players won't they'll see that many queens and they will be, oh yeah, you have to like have set this up. You'll have to have your lings already. You didn't skip out on those. I'll just like back off and like clear out a bunch of creep while I have my Liberator in your main base dealing damage. But just like diving like that is such a bold move from our
Oh, but you know what? The wall is open and ScrubbleS is completely all in. He has not remade a single drone that he lost. He's making nothing but lings right now. The queens are ready to waddle across the map if he so wishes. There is no bathing speed, but again, there isn't that much here. Maybe he can get us around on the tank on the low ground.
Yep, there's that tank on the high ground, so he does have to worry a little bit. And massive shelling. A bunch of the banelings goes down. He cleans up the entire low ground army, but you know, there's still a tank on the high ground, and not a lot of SCVs have gone down just yet. However, there are more lings, more banelings being made. Those queens still not quite marching just yet. Maybe he forgot about them. As maybe time for round 2 here in just a second.
Yeah, he's morphing in even more banelings, but as you said, like this tank on the high ground is key. If it wasn't for this tank, he may have already lost the game. It would have been devastating for him. As the banelings are coming, but immediately they get focused out. Oh god!
Oh, getting a bunch of the Marines there, and that entire mineral line gets cleaned up, and you can dive on this. There aren't that many units here. He does instead decide, yeah, I'll keep my units alive. I will instead try and drone up into the next phase of the game. And, you know, Dolan thought, you know, he's going all in. He kind of cut SCVs for a little bit as he had to. And only now is he rebuilding. And so I feel like ScrubbleS has got himself back into this game.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like his aggression, sure he wasn't able to kill too many workers, but just, you know, making sure Dolan didn't create workers, that inadvertently allowed him to drone up and equalize economically, and yeah, now things have stabilized.
Yes, one thing that is worrying is he still hasn't started 1-1. However, Dolan has 1-1 completed and is going to be starting 2-2 here in the not too distant future. And so upgrades really matter very much in StarCraft. If ScrubbleS keeps delaying his upgrades, I feel like he may just like find himself unable to really contest this Terran army if it gets too big.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's understandable, like, you know, that he had to delay his upgrades, but at the same time, like, mate, you've got 2 Evo chambers, like you need to start them at some point. There we go. Finally they do start, but oh my god, this drop already denying the 4th.
Yes, denying the 4th indeed, as it is going to be 1-1 versus 0-0 for Dolan, and it is 3 bases to 3 bases, so ScrubbleS kind of needs to find the space somehow to get a 4th base up, and mining.
Yeah, and we're getting to that stage where we were talking about it, like in the mid game, like the Marine tank pushes are huge, and Dolan, he's getting ready for his. Meanwhile, these Marines, once again, they do take out 2 queens.
And there were so many transfused used on those 2 queens. That's all creep spread. That's going to be slowing down that much more. And they unload just like outside of vision and are stimming into creep once again.
Oh boy, and here come the rest of the army, all the Marines and the tanks. Sure, there are a couple of banelings here looking to get some connections, but they are pushed away. More banelings are being morphed in defensively. We'll see if Dolan can try and contest against this.
Dolan does a really nice job. He's just like, yeah, I can't lose my Marines because banelings, they're like, he does have a big upgrade lead, which will help against the Zerglings, but banelings just deal so much damage. The upgrades don't help that much. As his tanks, they get spread out. Dolan is set up, and I feel like this 4th base is once again going to die here in a sec.
Yeah, oh my god, beautiful tank spreading here. It's going to be so difficult to engage. ScrubbleS, he's going to try and go for a surround.
Yeah, really nice job flanking from those, so many banelings just into the meat grinder.
Ugh.
Ouch.
And
GG gets called.
GG gets called. That was such a good position for Dolan to fight. Like 5 tanks spread out like that. There's no way you can stop that from happening. And ScrubbleS, he tried. In the end, it wasn't enough.
Yes, and so next up, I'm not entirely sure what our next match is gonna be. I believe we were trying to get Prototype versus Ryuchi, but I'm not sure if Ryuchi is online just yet, so we're gonna have to check in with Sugar. Yeah, that was our first 2 series. We have 2 more best of 5s tonight, and so I'm very excited. And they are really interesting best of 5s. The 2 we haven't done just yet are Prototype Ryuchi, a ZvP, and then Jig versus Kozin, another ZvT.
Yeah. I do wanna like commend ScrubbleS a little bit. Like he didn't play that series out badly. But as we were saying, like on a map like Submarine, like those tank pushes, I have nightmares about that. It's just it's not a good time.
Yes, this map, it's so it's like I said, you as a Zerg player, you like the first 4 minutes are where you have to do something, in my opinion, on this map, like just like something aggressive to try and get your opponent off guard, off their normal macro game, because that like really this until you get ultras, submarine is really just a Terran's playground.
Yep, as we saw. Aye. Regardless, congratulations, Dolan. He is our second player to advance to Code S. And ScrubbleS, unfortunately, he came so close. He did so well in Code A, but Code A is where he will be staying in Season 2.
Yes, and hey, you know, next time, there's always, you know, next time, Season 3, he can give it a shot, and maybe in Season 3 he'll get there. However, I know it's really well done. It's a good try, and you know, there's always next season. There'll always be more StarCraft.
Exactly. We're holding you to that, Sugar. That we're at least 3 seasons this year. It's never gonna stop. We're gonna keep going.